Hello and welcome to the RV Living Show.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome. Today on the RV Living Show, we'll be sharing the 3 upgrades we did to our RV that we just can't live with today.
We cannot live without these. So stay tuned and we're going to tell you all about them. The RV life. We're surrounded with the message that it's a life you have to wait until retirement to have and a life that only some can afford. And while it might be reality for those who want to believe that's true, we're on a mission to change that mindset and help people to stop wondering and start wandering to create a life they love.
Join us in conversations about how to design your RV life. We're Bryan Luann Street, and this is the RV Living Show.
So welcome to the RV Living Show. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, we're Bryan and Luann Street of Where the Streets Wander, an RV lifestyle blog that provides inspiration, education, and encouragement for the RV life. If you've been following us for a while, welcome back to our show. We're excited you're here with us. If you're watching with us live, go ahead and post in the comments where you're from and where you're watching from. And if you are watching on the replay, we would love to hear from you too. So we're going to be talking about our 3 best RV upgrades.
Yes.
These were game changers, guys.
Game changers for us, that's for sure.
We wanted to share with you at what point did we do them and why we did them in the first place. So we added these 3 upgrades right now in 2019 when we bought our 2019 Tiffin motorhome. Now, that being said, all of these things can be added aftermarket. They don't have to be added when you buy your RV. It so happened that it was a sweeter deal for us because we negotiated in our deal to have them installed at the time of purchase. So
it worked out okay.
Yeah, the installation was free. We still had to buy the pieces, but they installed it for free as part of the fact that we were buying it there. So there's a little financing tip for you or a buying tip for you. So let's give you a little background. This is our 3rd motorhome. And our first motorhome, we were part-timing in. The second 2, we were full-timing in. And the first one had, and we're going to talk about all 3 upgrades that we have today. We did not have endless hot water. We did not have suspension. Well, we added it.
Yes, we did.
And we didn't have solar on the very first one. So we kind of knew going into this 3rd one what we really wanted, and we knew how to go get it. And so maybe by watching this video, you're going to have that idea of like, oh, okay, so when I go buy mine, I'm going to add these to it because this sounds like something that I would really want to have. So let's dive into what those 3 things are, right? So the first one is the Truma Endless Hot Water.
I think that's your favorite.
Oh, absolutely, hands down. My favorite, endless hot water. I can take a shower for a half hour. Of course, we're not boondocking when we're hooked up. And not that I do it on a regular basis, but I could. It's the potential. So
just a thought.
And never run out of water. I mean, that is just so awesome. So when we were buying this 3rd RV, our second RV actually they didn't have the Truma endless hot water, but it had a system on it called an AquaHot that I got used to that. So coming into this one, I was like, that is a no-brainer. We're full-time. I live in this thing, and I want endless hot water.
Yeah, it makes a difference, especially, since we do have a washer and dryer on board. We can wash clothes. We can do dishes. We can take showers. We never even think about using water.
Well, in our first motorhome, and it could have been either the water heater was old or it was small. I think it was very small. I mean, we would come in from a day of sightseeing and both want to take a shower, and you'd run out of hot water really quickly. It was 6 gallons. I think a lot of them today are leaning more towards 10 gallons. Yeah. So you're not going to have that much of a, maybe you won't run out as quick. Yeah. But I knew I hated to run out of hot water in the middle of a shower.
Yeah, and I think some of the 10 gallons one, they have a little bit better recovery time on them. So it's if you can work with that one, that's great. But if you want just endless hot water.
Yeah.
You never have to think about. This was a great system.
So I can do dishes, and then I can go jump in the shower, and then Bryan can go jump in the shower. And I could run a hot load of towels if I wanted to, all in succession.
That's right. I think we have a picture of what we put on ours, if we can find it.
We do. So let me grab that. Here we go.
All right. This is actually ours installed. Now, what this we chose is a Truma. Now, I'll tell you a little background about Truma. Truma is a German company. They've been building RV-related products for, I think, like 70 years in Germany. They come to the States in right around 2013. They opened their first office here. They have grown very quickly here because they build such high-end products, and everything is quality. What is nice about it is that they're all over the country. You can get service on these just about anywhere you go. Most every RV dealer today carries Truma. I noticed that a lot of the manufacturers now, the last show we were at, they're installing these into the RVs up front, as coming off the line. I guess it's maybe an option. Maybe some of them doing it as the standard equipment. But what you do is this fits the existing pocket, or should I say, on your RV that your water heater has now. We just took the one out of this RV, just set it aside. This slides right in the same spot. It bolts in, they hook up the gas, they hook up power to it, and you're good to go. Now, we did have our cover painted to match our RV. That is an option you can do. The covers are white. If you don't mind a white cover, it's a quick change. You can get this installed in your RV and have the endless hot water running for you.
Yeah, so that we love our Truma. We have had, I think there was one time we needed a little bit of service on it. I don't remember what happened there.
Yeah, we had a problem where it was had a little trouble heating correctly, so we called them up. We're close to where the service center was. We drove there, and within a couple of minutes, he had it fixed for us.
Had it fixed. The service was amazing. He gave us, told us how to maintain it. It was really a great experience. So we highly recommend Truma AquaGoes. Okay, so the next upgrade that we did was solar. So we didn't have solar on our very first RV. We were part-timing in it, weekends. We didn't boondock. It wasn't really on our radar. Our second RV had one panel.
Had one panel. It was like a 100-watt panel, something like that.
Because it had a residential refrigerator. So as RVs have evolved and we've gone from RV fridges to residential fridges, solar becomes a little more important. And if then you take it a little bit farther and you want to boondock, you're going to need more and more, and you're going to need more batteries, maybe better batteries, and a better inverter, which we can talk about, and more solar panels. So we added solar to our 2019 Tiffin Allegro open road.
Yeah, we're not going into this that solar was going to be important. She mentioned our second RV had solar. It was enough to where if we didn't use any other power, it would probably maintain the battery. I say probably because they never were really full. But our refrigerator would run all day long, and we know this because we used to have to park it in a place near us because we were not living in it full time at that time. And we would run the refrigerator. So we know that it would run the refrigerator for several days without even needing any type of boost from the generator. But we know going to this, we wanted more and more power, and we're going to, we need it. We love to travel in our RV, especially if we don't have to run the air conditioner inside the RV. We can drive all day long. We never have to touch our generator. We've got plenty of power. We can cook, we can do whatever we need to do right now. When we pull in the campground, we know our batteries are going to be full.
Yeah, so that's a peace of mind, especially if you have a residential fridge, that you're not going to lose power, your food's not going to go bad. It's if you're packed, whether you're full-time or part-time, you got that fridge packed for your trip. You don't want the food to spoil. And so that was always on the forefront of my mind, is that I wanted to make sure that we had enough power to that refrigerator. And then the bonus to that is that you can, you know, eventually experience boondocking. And there are different levels of boondocking, what people are comfortable with. There are some people out there that want to totally solar up, battery up, and go out there and live for days on just their batteries and their solar power. That is not what we're set up for. We can boondock for a day, maybe 2-3 days, but I like water, so that has nothing to do with solar. But the boondock, we don't do a lot of boondocking, but it's nice to have that option that if we wanted to experience somewhere beautiful or remote, we could.
You know, one thing I want to mention is that for some reason, a lot of the campgrounds recently, we've experienced a lot of power outages lately. I don't know what it is. I know this campground we're in now, the other day, the power was out.
Yeah, we didn't even know it. So we were sitting there and we're kind of working. I think we were doing a couple videos for you guys that we were doing our travel challenge videos. And all of a sudden we're like, wow, it's kind of warm in here. Like, did the air go off? Like, what's wrong? And so we realized that we had been without power for probably an hour and didn't even know it because our lights were on, everything was fine, but our solar panels kept us going.
Yeah, you know.
Now, they didn't run the air. Because we don't have enough panels, or I should say batteries or inverter for running the air.
You can't run the air conditioner,
Yeah.
but you know, everything else works off our inverter, which makes it very nice. It's a nice feature when the power goes out, you know, you're good to go. This is our setup. We have 4 panels from Go Power Solar, and they're 680 watts total, like 170 watts each. We have 4 batteries, which they charge. They're deep cycle batteries, and they do a fantastic job. I know that when you start out in the morning, if you watch the thing charge, it would charge your batteries and maintain them at 100% in just hardly no time, really.
Which is a super nice feature. We were really happy with this. This is something we also installed at our purchase and had them do this at the dealer. Again, you can do this aftermarket. You do not have to wait to do that. A lot of RVs today are coming pre-wired for solar, or pre-wired, I guess is the right thing. It's kind of like back in the day when you bought a new home and it was cable ready, you know, then you could plug in the cable. So a lot of RVs today come solar ready.
Yeah, you know, if you have a residential refrigerator, you may not need 4 panels, maybe 2 would do it, or even 1, but you can figure out what you need, and just having that peace of mind that you can keep your refrigerator running is worth it in itself.
Yes, it really is. And of course, it's super nice to just have the power whenever you need it and do some of the smaller things. Now, you know, of course, amps, watts, and purple monkeys, as I call them, are all a topic that, you know, by running multiple appliances at a time while you're just on solar, you know, you have to learn how to balance. It's a balancing act when you are running only on solar. So keep that in mind. And, you know, before you put solar panels on, make sure you know what you want. What's your goal? You know, is it 2 weeks out in BLM land, or is it to just enhance your daily life?
Enhance your life. Or
boondock, you know, once in a while, a harvest toast, you know, now and again. So, okay. So all right, before I go on to the third thing, we want to invite you to our free Facebook community. We do a lot of cool things in our free Facebook community. Just last week, we did a travel challenge with all sorts of travel planning training. If you are not part of this community, jump in. We're going to start doing some really cool campfire chats in there, and some extra trainings that we are coming up with that are going to be streamed into there. So if you want to have extra access to us, but it's on a free level, you are welcome to join our Stop Wondering and Start RVing Facebook group. And by joining that, you can also help us continue the conversation about what your favorite RV upgrade is, because we would love to hear about it. Okay, so the last thing is suspension upgrades.
Yes, a little history. When our first motorhome was at Georgetown, now it was on an F-53 chassis. We drove that thing all over the country, and it will wear you out.
Yeah, it's hard fighting the wheel on a Class A that doesn't have any suspension upgrades. And being newbies back then, we didn't even know that was a possibility.
No, that was an option.
Yeah.
And we drove it. I remember some long trips we took. As a matter of fact, we'd come back from a long trip into Canada, and I took the RV in to have some service done on it. And a nice little shop, great service manager. We talked, and he said, I told him what I was doing. He says, you got any like upgrades in your suspension? I said, well, no, I have no idea. He explained what they were, and immediately I knew from that last trip I wanted them. So we went ahead and I talked to him. We put them on there, and it was night and day difference between how that RV handled.
So from a passenger point of view, I mean, he's talking about the handling, but for me, sitting in the RV, driving down the road, I don't know if those of you who have Class A's that don't have any suspension upgrades, when you go over bumps, you're doing this rocking thing when you're like bump, 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 and then you got to settle back down. With suspension upgrades, you do not do that. You go over the bump, you do a shift back, and you're back up. Like you're not all knocked around, and it's a dramatic difference. So
it's very dramatic. Now, these RVs are built top heavy, so if you're going anywhere type of bump, can shift the weight in your RV. It really, you really feel it. And not only that, you've got things inside your RV that tend to dislodge themselves and travel from one side to the other. So you don't want that happening either. So we can show some of the upgrades we had on ours. First Master, this is a Roadmaster reflex steering stabilizer. This is something that I know that going in, we wanted this because this helps with the front end wandering going down the road, as well as it's a safety factor. If you ever have a tire blowout, this is going to help you maintain control of your RV. What I liked about this particular brand is that this is Roadmaster. Roadmaster includes, you see that I pointed an arrow to that red spring. That is a return to center spring. So it uses compression and to actually bring the RV back to center. When you make a corner in this thing, it stretches the spring out, and the spring wants to return back to a normal state. So as you come out of your curve, this will bring the wheels really quickly, or not quickly, should I say, help you bring the wheels back straight on the road. And not only that, it helps you hold them there. And it really enhances the steering of your RV greatly, as well as giving you a little peace of mind. If you did have a tire failure or something, you'd be a little bit safer knowing that you could bring the RV under control.
Yeah, and you're not fighting the steering wheel all the time, which is something I've noticed when I drive this compared to driving the other one. It's hard enough in a gas motorhome you've got a lot of play in that steering wheel, and this helps tighten that up so you're not fighting it all the time.
Yeah, it really helps the steering. Now, this is on the rear of the RV, and this is the anti-sway bar. This is a Roadmaster.
And this is what helps what I talked about.
Yeah, this helps. This helps the back and forth rocking of the RV. This does not replace. This actually adds to the manufacturer. Ford chassis. They have a sway bar on the front side of this, which I didn't take a picture of. This just adds a little more sway bar to your back of your RV. We added this on. It made a huge difference because it helps bring the RV back straight and center on when you're driving. This made a huge difference as far as how it rides, and as far as things flying around in the RV, they're getting loose.
So those are our 3 must-have RV upgrades, and honestly, for going forward, we probably would. The next time, the Roadmaster's great, and especially for the price point, and it solves a lot of problems. The other thing that we have on our bucket, I shouldn't say bucket list, but dream list, is another product called Liquid Springs that we actually did a test drive with at the Tampa RV show, and if we were ever to go into another motorhome, we would completely have liquid springs done. So you might want to check those out if you are in the market. They are much pricier than the Roadmaster sway bar and steering stabilizer, but they make a dramatic difference. And you know, especially if you're using your RV a lot, you're driving it a lot, you're traveling a lot, it's really going to make a difference in your day-to-day usage of your RV.
Yeah, you know, if you're a full-time RVer and you bought this RV to travel with, you know, not only the safety part of having something that's very stable on the road, but just the ride comfort and just the way you enjoy RV, it's well worth the investment to look into liquid springs, because I'm not ruling them out that someday they might end up on this RV.
They might. They're pretty pricey though, especially for aftermarket. If you don't like, if you're going into a new purchase or even a used purchase at a dealer, you might be able to grandfather that all into your pricing and your financing. That would be a great way to do the liquid springs, because it is anywhere from $10,000 to $13,000 for just one end of the RV. So that is one of the reasons we don't have them right now. So
yes, one reason.
One reason. He's holding out hope. But anyway, those are our 3 must-have upgrades. We would love to hear what your upgrades are. Before we go to the comments today and see who's here with us live, we want to tell you that next week we'll be back here live. We're going to switch into some full-timing content coming up over the next few weeks as we get ready to launch our transition to full-time RV living workshop. It's going to be a new format coming up, and just to kind of let you know that it's going to be coming up in August, and we're going to start doing some more full-timing content here on the RV Living Show.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get in here. Let me turn off this banner and let's talk to some people. All right, Joanne Davis. Hey there. Yeah, she says they're on the road again. Excellent. Oh, that's great. I hope you're having fun. Richard says hello from Rhode Island. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Tina's here. Will from Indy. Thanks for being here. And then we have a couple questions. So we'll finish saying hello to Rose. And she says she got behind a pokey. Yeah, that happens, doesn't it? So Scott says that he's from Ontario, Canada, and he has a question. What kind of budget is needed to convert to an average solar system installed by the dealer?
That's a good question.
Do you remember what ours was?
I know the panels and the controller for what we put on was 4 panels. It was around $2,000 just for the panels. I know we at that time that we'd had made that special deal with the dealer. They kind of, I think they worked in a lot of the labor putting them on.
So, you know, depending on how much time it takes to install them, which I don't think it took a lot of time, an hour, maybe 3 hours. So whatever their hourly rate is for installation.
Yeah,
so you're probably looking at, you know, $3,000.
Yeah, the thing you got to be sure is that you have enough battery capacity, you know, to match the solar. So if you have to add batteries, that, you know, that's an extra cost as well.
So thinking about that, one thing always leads to another, doesn't it? It's like you want solar, but then you realize you need more batteries, or maybe you need to upgrade your batteries. We have not launched into looking at lithium yet because it just doesn't make sense for the type of traveling that we do. But those who want to boondock a whole lot, lithium might be something that they want to look into.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Again, I hope that helps you. Of course, every place is different. Every solar panel pricing is different. And this was done in 2019, so I don't know what current prices might be.
I just checked the prices. Ours is still around $2,000, so that's what $500.
Oh, you did check. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, okay. I thought he was going off what he did. Okay. So, and then I think most RV dealers are charging what, like $150 an hour for labor.
To 180, you know, it's a couple hours to install it.
Depends on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right, I hope that helped. And Tina says get a soft start for your air conditioner. Okay, Tina, you're going to have to elaborate on that because, or do you know what it is?
Well,
okay.
We don't have enough batteries, Tina, to run a soft start at this point. I mean, if we had lithium and a few more batteries, that would work for us. But it is an option if you have a lot of batteries, and definitely you could run your air conditioner.
Oh, look at that. See, I learned something. So that's great. Oh, all right. Well, if you guys have any more questions, or what is your favorite upgrade? What have you done to your RV? I mean, these are 3 things that we use on a daily basis. We have some other things that we've done to the RV that maybe we'll do in another show that also impact our daily living, but they're not the bigger ticket items. So we would love to know what you've done to your RV that makes it more comfortable for you and your traveling and your style of traveling. So awesome. Yeah, let us know in the comments. Jump in the Facebook group and let us continue this conversation. We'd love to have you in there. And again, we'll get started next week and launch into some full timing topics. If you want to know some things about full timing, please let us know so that we can maybe cover them in the upcoming weeks. Okay. Well, you guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you back here next week, same time, same place, Wednesday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you then.
See you there.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for the RV Living Show. We hope this episode helps you in creating an RV life you love.
Until next time, we encourage